Hey there, Kay Ficetti here, and I just want to welcome you. I feel like I'm not centered here. Let's play around a little bit. Okay, there we go. I just want to welcome you to my Facebook Live today. I haven't been on in a while on a live because I've just been working on a lot of different things, but my husband and I had our 44th wedding anniversary 2 days ago. And you know what? I had so many people commenting that, wow, that's quite an accomplishment. And it seems like in today's world, that is really quite an accomplishment. It doesn't seem so much like quite that accomplishment for us, because it's just our life. But from other people's standpoints, then I can see why it is really quite an accomplishment. And so I was sort of reflecting on that, and what I want to share today is just through my thoughts, how I ended up correlating the different reasons of why we have been able to last for 44 years in our marriage, and how I actually can totally apply, and I realized I have been applying those same characteristics. And this is not necessarily a limited list. These are just the things that I came up with probably in a minute, that are things that are necessary in order to succeed in network marketing and direct sales, and also are also things that are necessary to succeed in a long-lasting relationship. And so I wanted to go over those. I would appreciate it if you think somebody would benefit from this, if you would share this. And I'm going to try and watch and see. And if you do share it, I'll make sure I call out to you and thank you. I can't necessarily always see everything that's happening, but if you do share it, I would appreciate it. And also, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my Facebook Lives. I'm going to start this week being more regular with them. And one of the things I'm going to be doing this week is talking about a lot of the different gurus and the things that I have learned for my network marketing business from a lot of the top performers. So I think if you're in the business, or if you're in online marketing or any kind of marketing, you will definitely, or even just a brick and mortar business, I believe you'll be able to benefit from these tips. And so make sure you subscribe to my Facebook Lives. And also, if you haven't already, if you would go to my page, facebook.com/Kay Ficetti, and like my page. If you haven't already, I would appreciate that, and share it with others to like. So without further ado, let's get going on some of the things that I have learned from 44 years of marriage that I believe has benefited my business and maybe can benefit yours. And one of the first things is consistency. One of the ways that I really fell down in the beginning of my business was in being consistent. I was definitely a roller coaster. And if you've seen my video on microwave popcorn, where if you keep pausing the microwave, your popcorn's never going to pop, that holds true in your marriage and your business, because you need to be consistently spending time together, working on your marriage, building, no matter how long you've been married, building your friendship. We went out to dinner last night, so forth and so on. Just spending quality time together. And in your business, you need to spend quality time daily building your business. So consistency is a big thing. Lots of other things can get in the way, but it's setting the priority of your marriage and then your business. So that's one thing. Another thing is forgiveness. And not even just forgiving each other, but forgiving yourself for mistakes. I think many times we hold on to, if I would have only done this differently, or, oh gosh, I really blew it this time. And the thing is, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to sometimes ask forgiveness. And then in business, we need to just leave the past in the past and move on. Learn from the mistakes. Don't do it again. Or if you do it again, then say, oh gosh, I did it again. You know, what do I need to do to change in order to not do it again? Changing your habits. Forgiving. The next thing is grace. We not only do we need to offer each other grace, but we need to offer grace for ourselves. Because otherwise, if we just keep hanging on to the past and the guilt, then we're never going to move forward. The Bible talks about leaving the past in the past and moving forward. When God forgives us, he moves our sins as far as the east is from the west. He remembers them no more. So we need to do the same in our relationships, in our marriages, and also in our businesses. Now, that doesn't mean sometimes you don't need to set a boundary. You know, there's a lot of other, this is a very general, basic talk I'm giving here. There's a lot of other rabbit trails I can go down. But my point is, if we have an attitude of grace, if we offer grace, if we give grace, and if we accept grace for ourselves, then our relationships are going to be a whole lot different. And the next is good habits. I kind of alluded to that a little bit on the forgiveness, but we need to develop good habits, good daily habits, as far as our marriage and also our business. Your business, if you are not developing habits, your results are a result of your habits. So if you're not doing something today to build your business, then if you're not developing those habits, then there's not going to be any business. You're not going to have any results. And it's the same thing with developing habits of talking to our spouse, supporting our spouse, habits around the home, depending on, a lot of that depends on what your spouse's love languages are. If you've ever read the book, The 5 Love Languages, if you haven't, I would suggest you get it, and because it actually can apply to every relationship in your life, but especially with your spouse and loved ones, where you discover what their love languages are, and then you seek to follow through and build up their love languages, fill their love tank by knowing what their love languages are. My husband's is acts of service. I have known all of our married life that if I keep the house clean, and that doesn't mean that I necessarily did it. I've had housekeepers to help me. It's not like anyway. But I know that was something. If he came home from work and had a good meal and a clean house, he was very happy. His love tank was full, and I was blessed to be a stay-at-home mom most of my life, so why would I not want to do those things in order for my marriage? So developing good habits, and in your business, developing good habits to consistently work on and build your business. A positive attitude. Sometimes we get so negative. We only look at the negative side of things. And in business, if you are a negative person, if you are always finding fault, if you are always looking on the negative side instead of looking for, well, what's the positive side of this, or what can I learn for this, and how can I change this? Just anything to be focusing on the good things instead of the bad things. Instead of having a critical spirit, but instead saying, okay, that didn't work. What can I do next time to change that? And just having a positive attitude whenever possible. Are there times when it just seems impossible to do and you really need to maybe do some reflecting or confront, or there's a major issue? Of course. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about whenever positive, to try and look on the positive side of things and how you can use that in both towards your spouse and towards your business. A servant's heart. That's big. We tend to only want to focus on ourselves and not on what we can do for others. And network marketing is a servant business. It's helping others. We don't grow our businesses unless we're helping others to grow their businesses, unless we're giving to them. And it isn't necessarily, you're not going to be paid for it every time, but it is a part of doing the business and building the business and helping them to build theirs. And you are going to attract those who, whatever you portray is what you are going to attract. So if you are showing a servant's heart, you are going to attract people who have servant's hearts, who also want to help others. And it's the same way in your marriage. You have to have a servant's heart towards your marriage. If it's always about me, then there's going to be issues. Also, a willingness to learn and grow. I constantly am reading and watching videos. My husband will tell you, in my business, I am constantly looking for how I can personally grow myself in order to help others. And it's the same thing in your marriage. You have to be, you go to marriage conferences, you read books, if you're a person of faith, you go to church and you read your Bible and see what that says about how to grow your marriage. There are so many things that you can be doing yourself in order to grow. Don't nag, but encourage. This is a hard one for me. I will say it right here. I tend to be a control person, and so I want to keep reiterating what I think needs to be done, and you have to be real careful in that in network marketing, because if the people that are in business with you, that are your partners, that are part of your team, if you're nagging them, they're going to run the other direction. So because it's their business, it's not your business. They're growing their own business, so you can encourage but not nag, and the same thing is true in a marriage. Look for and expect the best in your spouse, and look for and expect the best in everybody that's around you, whether in business, other family, friends, etc. Again, stop the critical spirit and look for the best in them and encourage it. Determine to have faith. That is probably one of the biggest ones here. And faith that determined to stick it out, determined to do the hard work to make it work, and to make it last. And this is true in a marriage, and this is true in your business. We tend to give up. We tend to say, oh, this is too hard. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired of this. Oh, why the same thing over and over again? And that tends to be our attitudes. But if we determine from the beginning that we are sticking it out, we are going to make it work, and then when hard times come, then we don't even consider walking away, because we don't consider quitting. The only way that you fail in network marketing is if you quit. And you may have a lot of excuses, but it boils down to the only way that you fail is if you quit. Because if you stick it out, if you make changes, if you do the right things, if you be consistent, you will have success. Some people take longer than others. I've been taking 4 years, but the point is, if you stick it out, you will have success. Marriage, well, there can be a lot of variables. I know this, okay? So I'm not saying that every marriage is meant to last and so forth. I'm just telling you that what I have learned from my 44 years of marriage, which have helped me within my business. And sometimes, we don't live life in a vacuum, and we never know who's watching us, who's learning from us, who's looking at how we are handling all kinds of different situations. And as a person of faith, that's tremendous. We never know who is looking for Jesus in us, in our relationships and in our business. And so I think I'll just end it at that. So just to recoup or go over it again, consistency, forgiveness, learning, which means learning from our mistakes and forgiving ourselves, showing and receiving grace, having good habits, developing good habits, having a positive attitude, having a servant's heart, willingness to learn and to grow, stop nagging but encouraging, and not trying to control but sitting back and letting them make decisions. Look for and expect the best in others, and determining to have faith, determining to stick it out, determining to do the hard work and to make it work and to make it last. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you did find it helpful, if you would share this with those on your Facebook. And if you haven't already, if you would like my page, facebook.com/Kay Ficetti. And again, this next week, I'm going to probably be most every day doing a Facebook Live, sharing from different network marketing professionals who have been extremely successful and the things that I have learned from them, going back to willingness to learn and grow. So I hope you'll tune in. I hope you'll share this. I hope that you will subscribe to my Facebook Lives, and have a great weekend. God bless.